Now we're going to welcome another powerful lady, a strong lady in the fintech industry, Jessica Naga, the CEO of Mindex group of companies. Welcome to London News, Jessica.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here this time.
Happy to have you as well here today with us in the news studio. So how do you find our setup?
It's incredible. I mean, Fortress is the capital of the island. And I think with these new buildings, it feels more modern. So it's really nice.
Great, and happy to see and to strong women in the blockchain and crypto industry, I must say. So to start, can you please give us a brief about Mindex group of companies?
Sure. So Mindex is a digital ecosystem, fully licensed, regulated by the Financial Services Commission of Mauritius, headquartered here. And what it's building is an ecosystem to create, store, and trade virtual asset and security tokens.
A digital ecosystem.
Exactly. So that a client doesn't need to choose or to make the solution fit them.
All right.
The ecosystem is here and it can serve them best by choosing a structure that is best for that market.
From my research, I saw that a Mindex group of companies includes Mindex Digital Custody Limited, the first licensed virtual asset service provider in Mauritius, and also Mindex Limited, the first digital securities exchange of Mauritius. So Jessica co-founded the Mindex group with the goal of addressing, like you mentioned, financial infrastructure deficiencies in Africa and using blockchain technology to optimize the creation, storing, and trading of assets. So it's great to hear actually about a Mindex group's comprehensive, comprehensive offerings in the fintech industry. So what motivated your company to sponsor this event, meaning the Cryptoverse Summit 2023?
So I think we got into the fintech space and the tokenization of asset space quite a while ago. So I don't know, 6-7 years ago, when everybody was looking at just crypto exchanges,
Well, it was just like starting it.
Yes, it had been here for more than 10 years now, but people were more interested in crypto trade, cryptocurrencies. It's only now that I think the big reports are coming out that tokenization of real world assets, and so utility in blockchain is what's going to survive, and really make a difference. And I think this is what this group has been about from the beginning. So this is more of a legal financial group using technology to optimize, to address gaps in the market. So I lived about 4 years in Africa before returning to Mauritius after my studies and work in Europe. And I think what I saw in Africa is that a lot of the exchanges, the securities exchanges, were operating in silo. There was not as much liquidity in the market. It became difficult to fund projects. So they would go into the bigger markets to fund. And the thinking was, what if you could bring the advantages of a crypto exchange, of 24/7 trading, of retail trading, of wanted-to-wanted trade between, within a regulated ecosystem, that could change how we live, how we raise capital for our businesses. That was the thinking.
So that changes our overall perception of everything.
I think it does. I think, you see, cryptocurrency is one use, and it has in some countries in the world become an alternative currency because of the fluctuation of their own currency. So it's so volatile. Some of the African currencies are so volatile that the volatility of some cryptos are better. So it's crazy to think about. I've been in a couple of panels in the last couple of months with regulators. So one of them was with the SEC of the US, South African regulators, and they invited me as a lawyer. So I've been a fintech lawyer for 19 years now.
Oh wow, how does that feel?
19 years, you feel less of a fraud. You feel like you quite understand a bit more what you're doing. You kind of feel a bit more confident in advising, And I think
when you feel that confidence today, I really had the impression to talk to a powerful and strong lady and have to do what you want and be passionate about what you do, and you can feel that. It's like a mutual sharing today and what's not today.
It should be that. And I think that's what I wanted to do. And when I was offered the position to run this group, it felt very much I felt determined because I think if we get this right, we could make Mauritius an exchange center for the whole of Africa.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean mean that we take business from there and do it here. What it means is that Mauritius is on the white list, right? We meet all of FATF recommendations. We have a large number of professionals, English speaking, French speaking, fluently.
Mauritiusly melted out for that.
You know, so the professional qualifications are there.
Yeah.
What if we could be the heartbeat of Africa in the financial sense, that we bring the funding into African projects? A financial center, a real one.
What if you were doing it? And that's what we want to integrate.
Yes, and you know, we've entered the African market already. We hope to be announcing very soon exciting projects that we're coming. I think we similarly mutual benefit. And so, you know, you've got the assets. We have the ability to be a very credible financial center. We've been for 30 years an IFC of choice. But we've got to prepare for the next 30 years to be competitive, to really be able to offer the service. We have to serve. We're not here to just make money. Money just comes. We have to serve a market that we feel needs it at the moment. So it's a really exciting time to be doing blockchain. And then why do I now wish you a bright future in this field? And I think one of the reasons we felt it important to be in this conference is that it is a real conference of public, private sector, international experts, local experts, and you can hear the story of everyone. What are we trying to do? We're trying to show what it can do, how it can make us do things better. This is not just automation.
It's the best of all worlds.
Correct. I think with blockchain, this cross-border internationalization of everything is here. So you're not trading during, you know, office hours, you're trading 24/7. And I think I say this, I think this will benefit women also, because it's going to be fractionalized. We're going to be able to invest for smaller amounts.
I think we should have a proper show to talk about the place of women in this particular industry.
Absolutely.
Quite interesting.
Absolutely. I would love that.
I would to be in it as well. So I think that could be our next debate. Who knows? That's the best I wish for both of us. So Jessica, the Cryptoverse Summit is an important platform for showcasing. You mentioned that earlier on, your expertise as well in blockchain and digital assets. And like you mentioned in a previous interview, because I did my research before coming here today, there is now a race internationally to create competitive virtual asset ecosystems to attract international players.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Oh, totally. I mean, I think, you know, Mauritius has been an IFC for the region for quite a while.
Yeah.
And there are multiple African countries thinking the same thing, you know, and it's totally normal. And I think Mauritius has pioneered an incredibly good regulation. You know, the VINTOS Act, the Virtual Asset and Initial Token Offering Services Act is really good. It's simple. It's an umbrella law. So within it, you can do a lot of things. What the Virtual Asset Act does is that it creates a line of defense through regulated players, right? So it doesn't regulate the asset itself unless you are doing an ITO. Otherwise, it regulates the custodian, the exchange, the virtual asset marketplace, and the broker-dealer. So it regulates that middle layer. So I think Mauritius has done very well. When the US
Is the less possibilities?
Yes, no, but more than that, now the US is thinking, are we going to regulate? The US has not even defined what a digital asset is. Mauritius has regulated everything. You know, the reason the ICOs came, and there have been many ICOs that have failed, it's because people are trying to find ways around securities law, and it's very difficult. Very heavily. Mauritius says, I do not want people playing around. If you come here to be regulated. So whether you're a security token, you're an ITO, you're going to be regulated, you know. So this is really exciting. We're going to be able to list not just equity and bonds and contracts, and, you know, it's just an ecosystem where for a lawyer, such a good playing ground. You can do anything. So I think, you know, I'm embracing this ecosystem that allows us to do in a very secure way anything for our clients.
Yeah, and you're embracing the digital era as well. It's clear that Mindex Group is actively involved in promoting the growth of the fintech industry and leveraging events like the Cryptoverse Summit to do so as well. And do you think, like you just mentioned, Mauritius is becoming a hub for the virtual assets, definitely, and Mauritius is well positioned to become a hub for virtual assets as well due to its favorable regulatory framework. You mentioned its strategic location between Africa and Asia, which is like well located.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the location has been the reason why the location and the close ties, right? Our close ties with India, our close ties with many, many African countries helps to make Mauritius a turning point.
Yeah.
But I think now, with the ability to list virtual assets, to tokenize the assets, it is more than a turning point. It can become a center for exchange. So it is more than a retail. It is a real business center where you come to list, to raise, and the business is done here, securely regulated by best international players.
I think you said it all. Let's now talk about your intervention on the D-Day. On which topic will you be talking?
So I've been asked to talk about why Mindex is here. Why did we choose to headquarter ourselves here? I think that will be a lot of the reasons that we've said here in more detail. What does the Vitus Act allow us to do? How does the ecosystem work? And I think it would be from an operator's point of view, right? As how we're operating within this ecosystem. So it will be that.
We can't wait to hear you on the D-Day, Jessica and Naga. Looking forward to hear your speech. So what are the benefits you would say of tokenizing the SaaS?
So, I use that example a lot, but I think it's a clear one. So let's say you want to buy gold. You've got to buy the gold. You've got to move the gold. You've got to insure it. You've got to keep it in your little safe. And, it's complicated. You've got to keep it like here. So it's all the risk of moving it and the hassle of it, which sometimes the cost of all of that might reduce any better, right? So if you look at it like that, and let's assume you buy gold, you keep it in the safe of JP Morgan in London, for example, and then you tokenize it, and you're tokenizing the custody certificate of ownership, and then you fractionalize it in little bits of the ground, and anybody can buy it, and anybody can sell it, and it's really quick. So you have a small token like this, you have lots of people who can buy it, so the client base of selling it. So it's liquid, it's very, very liquid. So the same way of doing this with gold, you can do this with any commodities. You can do this with securities. So imagine you're based in Kenya and you want to buy a share in Mauritius. It is complicated. You've got to go through a broker. You've got to wait when the broker is actually working. You've got foreign currency and differences and risks. So it's a lot of red tape that doesn't allow this free trade. Here, your DP'd, your wallet is there, you can play 24/7.
Oh, so
that's what it is.
So tokenization made simple by you today, because due to the examples you just mentioned, we understood clearly what it was about. Tokenizing assets can provide viewers several benefits, including increased liquidity, fractional ownership as well, and improved transparency. It can also reduce transaction costs and provide access to a wider pool of investors. Am I correct?
Totally. And all it is, that I don't think I defined it, but it is digitalization of the asset and putting it on a blockchain. Why a blockchain? Because then that's the basics are decentralized ledger. So it's held in multiple places, and therefore it is more secure.
And it's clear that tokenizing assets has the potential to revolutionize the way we think about asset ownership and even investment. So that's a big change.
Absolutely. I think before, I say this and I really believe it. I think tokenization of assets and listing on a regulated so marketplace or exchange will cause a democratization of investment so that anyone be able to invest in anything. And that is very important, because what we want as Mindex is not only to allow people to make money through trades, it's allow people to build wealth. Well, how can you build wealth? It's only if you're able to invest in certain assets, and you should know that you can build wealth. This is what we want to do. We want to allow everyone to be able to invest into it.
That's your aim.
Totally.
And what would you say, what will be your message today for our audience that will be present at the summit?
I think ask a lot of questions, and that's where there'll be a lot of people.
Yeah.
We question things, then we learn. I think come with an open mind, especially the traditional players. Just see what this can do to your traditional play. I am a very traditional lawyer. I am risk averse as could be. And therefore, I think we should never throw away anything that works. We build on top. So I think come in with thinking, how can we make what we've already got better? And then network, talk to anyone. And I think it will be an amazing event, really.
Yeah, I'm sure of that as well, and our viewers too, I hope so. And your message to the audience, the great reminder, Jessica, that events like the Cryptoverse Summit can provide valuable opportunities for learning and networking and even collaboration within the fintech industry. It's also interesting to hear about Mindex Group's presence at the event, that's awesome, and the potential for attendees to learn more about the company and its services. Thank you once again. It was so nice to have you. I want hopefully I'm going to have the pleasure to do another interview with you soon to talk about the place of women in the fintech.
Anytime. The woman played anytime.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. It's a dusty morning in Dubai, and I'm really looking forward to coming to Mauritius and meeting you all at Cryptoverse Summit and talking to you about the metaverse. Come see me there. Looking forward to it. Bye.
Hi, my name is Victor. I'm the co-founder of Nurica Health. I'll be speaking at the Cryptoverse Summit taking place in Mauritius. And I'll be presenting the Nurica project. And I look forward to seeing you on the 17th May.